Today we're talking about how designers use IKEA for closets and storage. If you watched the first video in the series, you know the secret isn't really a secret. Designers build beautiful kitchens on real budgets by spending on the elements that shape how a space feels and less on the parts that simply need a function. The investment goes where your eye lands. The same principle applies to storage here. Closets, wardrobes, media cabinets, they're the infrastructure. When you spend less on the box itself, you create room in the budget for the things that give a home character. Beautiful lighting, antiques, art, wallpaper, the details that make a space feel unmistakably yours. Sarah Sherman Samuel is an AD 100 designer known for a warm, collected style that's landed her clients like Mandy Moore and cover features across Domino, AD, and Dwell. When Sarah designed her own living room, she started with IKEA's BESTÅ cabinet, then elevated it with the doors she designed for Semihandmade and custom turned legs. By changing the proportions and the finish, it no longer reads as storage, it reads as furniture. The takeaway isn't simply to add new doors or legs, it's that changing the silhouette and the finish completely changes how we perceive the piece. Another IKEA transformation was for this dresser in her nursery. She used the TARVA dresser and painted it, added long brass pulls, and my favorite detail is one most people would miss. She cut the legs at an angle. Such a simple change, but it completely transformed the profile and proportions. It's a reminder that customization doesn't have to mean adding more. Sometimes it's 3 thoughtful decisions: a different finish, a different hardware, subtle shift in proportion that completely change the outcome. New York designer Sam Masters transformed IKEA's PAX wardrobe in his 420 square foot West Village apartment by wrapping it in Fornasetti wallpaper. From across the room, the wallpaper is so transportive, your eye is drawn to the pattern long before it registers the wardrobe itself. Suddenly, what could have been a large utilitarian piece becomes part of the architecture of the room. He used the same approach on a smaller scale in his foyer, wrapping an Ikea Stockholm cabinet in Phillip Jeffries' Enchanted Woods wallpaper. The wallpaper isn't simply decorative, it's doing the same job a custom finish would on built-in millwork. It's the detail that transforms a cabinet from something assembled into something intentional. Nate Berkus and Jeremiah Brent took a similar approach in their Montauk guest house, dressing a PAX wardrobe with leftover grass cloth wallpaper from their New York home, adding driftwood handles from Etsy, and shell necklaces for the perfect layer touch. They intentionally repeated materials, white, wicker, linen, grass cloths from the main house so the guest house would feel connected to the rest of the property. It's a reminder that the most memorable interiors aren't just layered with beautiful things, they're layered with personal ones. None of these designers treated IKEA as a destination, they treated it as the foundation. The personality came from what they layered onto it: better proportions, richer finishes, meaningful materials, thoughtful hardware. It's the same principles we saw in the kitchens. Spend less on the infrastructure so you can invest where the room tells its story. And before we wrap, I thought we'd have a little fun. Not everything designers buy gets customized, so I'm calling this segment Designers. They're just like us at IKEA. In Athena Calderon's former Cobble Hill brownstone, one IKEA staple stayed exactly as it came off the shelf. No hack, no custom paint, just practical storage doing its job. And here's a fun coincidence. Architect Elizabeth Roberts, the designer behind Athena Calderon's Cobble Hill renovation, once used a navy billy bookcase with glass doors in the bathroom of her Bellport weekend home. Neither piece needed to prove anything. Sometimes good design isn't knowing what to customize, it's knowing what already works. One of the things I've learned from studying designers is that they're rarely chasing expensive, they're chasing intentional. IKEA just happens to be one of the tools they use to get there. If you missed the first video in this series on kitchen cabinets, I'll link it here. It explores the exact same design principle in another part of the home. Thanks for watching. See you next time.